It's the kind of basement most people would rather avoid. Dark, damp, with a coldness that seems to creep into your bones. And for one man, that basement had always felt wrong. Ever since moving into the house, he and his family had been plagued by strange occurrences. Unexplainable noises, objects moving on their own, doors that opened and closed without reason. The kind of happenings that leave you questioning your sanity. But tonight he had a feeling something was about to happen. Something that would finally be caught on camera. It was 2017. Only a few months had passed since the family moved in, and the basement had quickly become the focal point for all things creepy. The man, tired of second-guessing himself, decided to grab his phone. If something was going to happen, he wanted proof. He had spent countless nights trying to explain away the strange sensations, the feeling that he wasn't alone when he ventured downstairs. The tension was thick, the air heavy with that undeniable sense of something lurking just beyond the shadows. So he descended into the basement, phone in hand, ready to document whatever might come. As he steps down into the gloom, you can hear the nervousness in his voice. Like I was saying earlier, most of the stuff happens down here. He speaks almost casually, but there's a weight behind his words, like someone who's had too many encounters with the unknown. The man knows this space better than he'd like, and he's not alone. Then suddenly, it happens. The camera pans over to a door, an unassuming door at first glance, just sitting there, heavy and looming in the dim light. But what happens next is anything but ordinary. As if on cue, the door creaks open by itself, slow and deliberate. "That's freaky stuff right there," the man mutters, his voice shaky. It's clear he's trying to keep his cool, but there's an edge to his tone, like he's bracing for whatever might come next. The door opens wider, revealing nothing but more darkness beyond. He tries to laugh it off. "Oh boy, here we go with the door. Yeah, don't like that." His nervous chuckle betrays his attempt to stay calm, but then the door stays open, wide and unmoving, as if it has a will of its own. The man is quick to point out that this isn't the first time it's happened. He mentions how the door always swings open by itself, and how once open, it never closes. The door just stays there, frozen in its open state, as if daring him to step closer. But here's the kicker. That door, it's heavy. Not just heavy, it's massive. According to the man, despite being a pretty strong guy himself, he struggles to open it on his own. So how does a door that heavy swing open like that with no one touching it? No wind, no draft, no obvious explanation. The man's baffled expression says it all. He knows this isn't normal. He knows something is messing with him. And then, as if to mock him, the door slams shut with a force that echoes through the basement, leaving the man momentarily speechless. "Oh crap," he mutters, his bravado slipping for just a second. You can almost feel the hair stand up on the back of your neck as you watch. This isn't the kind of footage you can easily explain away. The man doesn't run. He doesn't scream. But you can see the unease in his eyes, the way he glances over his shoulder, half expecting something or someone to be watching him from the shadows. This isn't a one-time thing for him. The basement, this door, it's all part of a bigger pattern. Strange, inexplicable things had been happening ever since he and his family moved in. From objects mysteriously shifting position to lights flickering without warning, the house had become a breeding ground for the paranormal. And yet, this particular event stood out. Not just because he caught it on camera, but because of how deliberate it seemed. Like whatever force was at work wanted him to see it, wanted him to feel its presence. He points out that this door in particular has always been the worst. No matter what he did, wedging it shut, locking it, barricading it, it always found a way to open. And every time it did, it left him feeling uneasy, as though something was lurking behind it, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. After the incident, the man and his family didn't stick around for long. The constant barrage of strange happenings, combined with the ever-growing sense of dread, eventually drove them out. They moved on, leaving the house behind in hopes of finding some peace. But even now, years later, the footage of that night in the basement continues to haunt him. It's one thing to feel like something is wrong, but to see it unfold right in front of you, to capture it on camera, that's something else entirely. Even though they've long since moved away, the man still thinks about that door, about that basement. It's the kind of thing you can't easily forget. And while no one has been able to explain what exactly happened that night, one thing is for sure: whatever it wasn't natural. Now, as he watches the footage back, time and time again, he's left with more questions than answers. Was it a ghost? A poltergeist? Some sort of malevolent presence that thrived in the dark, damp corners of his basement? No one knows. But one thing's certain: that door will never be just a door again.